I'm highly spiritual. 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 I'm highly spiritual.
Peace and love, friends and family. Welcome back to another episode of the Highly Emotional Podcast. It's been such a beautiful, it's been a beautiful time for me where I'm at in life. And I feel like I'm touching places and new heights that I never thought that I would be able to touch before. I feel like it's being called upon me by divine sacred source or God or whatever you call it to create a space in which people can confide who they are, the shadow that they're dealing with, the adversities that they're dealing with, the resentment that they're dealing with, but also find balance in that relationship with God, or what I believe in is self. And so I ask a lot of people, I ask them like, how's your relationship with God? How's your relationship with with your soul? And I think that a lot of people, when they hear God, they think that I'm talking about, a religion perspective on it. When I'm asking how's your relationship with God, what I'm asking is how is your relationship with you? It just seems like a lot of us feel like we have to maintain a relationship with God in order for people to perceive us as being good people. But I feel that if you understand that God is within, the temple of God is within, the kingdom of God is within, you realize that God is within you. And it seems that people neglect themselves for the sake of God outside of them, and then they hide who they are inside. And, as we talk about on here a lot of times, as we talk about the shadow, most of us are afraid to address our shadow, afraid to address who we are within. So therefore, we deal with things internally and it affects our everyday living situations. So today I wanted to talk about something that I've talked about briefly, but I really haven't given you guys the context truly of it. So I wanted to touch lightly about my book, Only You Can Save Yourself. I'm just going to go off like the back context of it. And it goes like this. It goes, what if healing isn't about fixing yourself, but remembering who you were before your pain? For years, you may have felt trapped in circles of trauma, self-doubt, emotional weight. You've been waiting for someone or something to rescue you from the heaviness of your past. But the truth, the power to heal has always been within you. Only You Can Save Yourself is more than a book. It's a guide to reclaiming your life through a 3-step healing process. And you will learn how to identify and bring awareness to your past wounds, feel and process suppressed emotions, forgive, release, and let go, and transform pain into power. So with me for this book, it wasn't the fact that I wanted to just write a book for people and have people purchase something. What it truly was is it was about transcending beyond my pain, my depression, my image on what I thought I was, while activating or living in the victim mentality under that hive control that we talked about on the episode previous to this. And it was just showing people the steps in which helped me become a better version of myself. And so it's like through all this pain that I was dealing with in my entire life, my entire life, is that I always thought that I had some type of relationship with God, but the relationship that I was having was a false relationship based upon the context in which people told me God was. I would always find myself in like the darkest spots of my life and say, oh God, please help me, or Jesus, please, Please save me. I promise I'll go to church. I promise I'll read the Bible. And I realized that I was doing myself an injustice of a relationship with God, because I would only seek for God in those moments. And I only thought that God would be with me when I would do good things. But what I'm starting to realize is that when I do a mental review of my life, of me like being in the darkest situations to now where I'm in a peaceful place, there was never a time where God was not with me. And whether I wanted to believe or I didn't believe, or this was somebody's definition of God and this and that, God was already with me, mapping out my life. Even when I was doing bad things, even when I was hurting myself with toxic relationships and, abuse and all these other things, God still was with me. The thing about it is, like, in my life, when I sit back and I review, God was always sending a signal to me to show me that I was going the wrong way. And it's like we listen to everything else outside of us. Like, you go to church and you listen to this, and you listen to your parents that tell you, hey, God is this religion and God is that and this and that. But I feel like God always reveals in the times it needs to reveal. And when I'm saying God, divine, sacred source, the Most High, the universe, all these terms literally mean the same thing. It's for a power that is loving, internal. And we think that we have to be so hard upon ourselves. We have to be perfect people. I used to think, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I such a bad person? Why am I so fucked up? Why do I have to deal with this? God, why me? God, you don't love me. And I used to have all these thoughts. And even with the depression shit, it was like, yo, I'm a bad person. I need to kill myself. I got to get up out of here. I know that I love these people. I know, like, all these things were in my mind. But what I didn't realize is what sacred source, what God, what universal light was truly doing was molding me, creating my character as if this was a video game, taking and realizing that if I went through this pain, it would create a muscle. And then that muscle would transcend into an even bigger muscle. And once I mastered that lesson by focusing on that muscle, I would then go over here and gain a muscle by going through this struggle. And then it became knowledge. And then once I finally spun back, I could sit down and realize, yo, this whole time I was gaining a muscle. This whole time I was working my way through a situation, and I was being so hard on myself because I thought that this situation deemed who I was. And so, like, in this book, it's not even really a book. It's really just a guide in which, like, if you're dealing with something, you can apply to it. Like, here's one of the quotes is, you can't change what you refuse to acknowledge. We refuse to acknowledge a lot of our hurt. And when it comes to our pain, we want to push it aside. But if you acknowledge and you sit with it and you learn to understand it, then you could gain that muscle that I'm talking about. You can grow for you. You can grow for the ones that you love, because now that you have the muscle, people will see that muscle and they say, hey, how'd you get that? How'd you transcend beyond your pain when I've seen you in pain? I seen you struggling. What did you do? And then you can literally say, like, hey, this is what I did. It started with me acknowledging the shit that I was going through instead of trying to numb it or become or push it aside. Like, you have to truly, like, address all the things that you're dealing with. It's like here it is. Like, the first step in healing is to ask yourself, what patterns keep repeating in my life? What triggers me in most of these relationships? And where did I first learn the beliefs I have about myself? I thought that I was a bad kid because someone else told me I was a bad kid. But I always knew how big my heart was. I always knew how much I loved people. I always knew that I never really wanted to hurt anybody unless they hurt me. And even then, in those situations, every single person that I would hurt, like let's say I got into a fight in school, if I fought them, I felt like shit for hurting them. And then I would always seek a friendship without them. Anybody who's ever been in a fight with me in my life, like a physical, like fist fight, they became my friends because I never felt like it was okay to harm somebody. It's just whatever they were dealing with and whatever I was dealing with created the situation in which we had to throw hands. And it never was really that serious. It never was something that we couldn't overlook. I think that majority of the times when it came to like situations in which I had to fight is when I felt like I was bullied. And then I think in my head, like, when did I feel like I was bullied? And I realized the times that I felt like I was bullied was in school when people would pick on me because of my skin color or because of, you know, how I acted or this, and that. And then a lot of things were in the home. A lot of the things that I was dealing with was based upon my childhood, you know, bullshit that, you know, was placed upon me. So it's like we push aside all of our emotions, all of our trauma, our drama, and then we duck them off, and then they start popping up every day in our lives. They become our image. The things that we're hiding within our shadow become our reality. Everybody else might perceive you as this good person, but your reality becomes that darkness that you're holding within. People probably already knew that I was a good person, but I couldn't see it for myself. Here's another one. I'm ready to see myself fully. I am ready to heal and I am ready to grow. It's the universe. You in verse is within you. Everything that you portray is what you are, the opposite within. So you might portray that you're this good person, but within you feel like shit. And so therefore it goes back to like when they be like, yo, act like you got some common sense. What you mean act? I have common sense. I know who I am. I'm a great fucking person. But the thing is, based upon me trying to hold back who I am because I want you to think that I'm this, well then, you know, I gotta act. I gotta put on this character. I've always been a good person. I think that majority of people are great people. I just think that a lot of us are dealing with some type of trauma. And it's just sad because we get so caught up on bullshit in our life that we deal with that it interferes with who we want to be. So we get stuck in those loops that we were talking about in the hive mentality, trying to keep up with these cultural norms or these trends of the world. And then you think that that's who you are. Like men don't cry. Man, that's bullshit. It feels beautiful to cry. Actually, I just had a amazing crying moment the other day. I was here in the studio and I was making a song and I didn't know the idea on which the song was. So I just closed my eyes and I started just letting it go. And in the song, it was the context was like down to my grave, I'll shed tears for you. You know, down to my last, I'll shed tears for you. And as I started the verse, the words started coming out. And in the middle of the verse, I realized that it was like a letter to my father. Because I had visited my dad not too long ago. And every time I would hug him, I just felt this need to like hug him. Like, man, I love you. I just want to give you this energy hug. Like just healing energy. I want to show you like, I love you. That's all it is just I love you. And every single person, like when I was in Maryland, when I would hug them, it would feel like an exchange for whatever they're dealing with for positive energy to like cleanse them and heal them. It just felt that way. But when I was hugging my dad right before we left and I was like, you know, I love you, I could hear his voice crack. And he might, you know, think that those are weak based upon his perspective of how he views his life. But I heard his voice crack. And it just made me realize that when it came to my dad, I used to be afraid of my dad because I could not trust him based upon, our relationship, based upon some child abuse and, me not knowing who he is and him not knowing who I am. And he called me later on the day and he said, "Don't hug me like that." And I was like, "Why?" And he said, "Don't hug me like that because it feels like it's a goodbye forever hug." And I was like, "Well, I just wanted to give you a hug like I love you because I want you to know I love you, even though like you may think that, I don't fuck with you or whatever bullshit that we've been through, I still love you." And I told him, I was like, although you feel like it's a goodbye forever hug, I want to hug you like it may be the last time that I'll see you. And I feel like we hug people in our life without understanding that life can be very temporary and you never know when it's going to be the last time you'll see somebody. So anyways, back to the song. I was in the middle of like writing this verse or saying this verse like straight from my mind, my spirit into the microphone. And in the middle of it, I started crying. And when I tell you like I started crying, I started boo-hooing. And I realized that for my dad, it may hurt because he never got the opportunity to be the father that I may need him to be, or I want him to be, or that he wanted to be. He probably just only had the chance to just be him in the sense of what he had to deal with and the cards that he would deal with. And in the middle of my tears, I could just think about like being a father and not being able to know your son, the one person who may be able to relate to you, the one person who shares you. Like I'm a man, my son is a man, like this experience of like manhood. And I felt like, damn, it sucks that you had to deal with that. Like it really sucks that you had to go through your life in and out of jail, not being able to see your son and not having a great relationship with your blood kids, and to be at a point in your life where you kind of feel like you're at a certain part in your age where tomorrow isn't promised. And not only are you dealing with whatever sickness that you're dealing with resentment, internal resentment. You're dealing with your own emotions and depression and all these things. Like it just came to my mind and I was like, damn, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. And then I bust out in tears and I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you were stripped from that. I'm sorry that you never had the opportunity to have the relationship with me that you wanted to. And a lot of us, we think that we know what our parents is going through. We know, a lot of us, like when it comes to dads who ain't been in their kids' life, we just be like, fuck my dad. And, he wasn't there. But it's like, you never really know what these people are going through. You don't know what your mom is dealing with. You only know what she tells you. And what she tells you might just be the information that's best for you based upon what she feels is beneficial to your development. But you don't know her truth. You don't know his truth. I don't know my dad's truth. And I was like, damn, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that you didn't get that. But then I found a level of gratitude in this sadness, this grieving point, because I had felt so deep of an emotion that I had processed in my brain that is as if my dad had died. And it was like, I'm so sorry. But then I found the gratitude, and gratitude was like, thank you. Because it must have been extremely painful to deal with that. It must have been extremely painful to deal with seeing your child being raised by someone else, growing up with other people, not having that time to teach him how to be a man according to your standards due to your wrongs and your rights. And not only that, I was like, thank you, because all the things that you went through, all the things that you fucked up on, all the good things that I know about you, because we did meet, we do have a relationship, all the things that I know of you, about you, I can apply them to my life and have the best relationship with my children, which I feel like I have now. And I realized, like, that's kind of how I have to base our relationship. That's where that deep level of love comes from. It's a sense of gratitude. I understand that you deal with a lot of stuff. You went to the pits of hell in your life, and I wasn't there to witness. I never can know, but I mean, I'm thankful that I don't know, because I can love my son. I can be there for my son. I can learn from your mistakes and say, I'm going to be the best father that my father wasn't. And this is another point in the book. It says forgiveness is not a gift to the person who hurts you. Forgiveness is a gift to yourself. I forgive my father, but I forgive myself for thinking that my father was a bad person, thinking that I didn't have a father, thinking that it was just me going through my shit. I forgive myself for placing that image on myself, for that mind state. Forgiveness is not saying what happened was okay, for forgetting or pretending it didn't happen, letting someone back into your life, accepting toxic behavior. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is forgiving yourself, releasing the emotional grip the past has on you, freeing yourself from the weight of anger, resentment, and bitterness, choosing pain over peace, recognizing that what happened to you is part of your past, but it does not have to define your future. Just because my dad wasn't there before does not mean that he's not there now. He's there now, so therefore I can build that relationship and talk to him. Let him know who I am. With all of them, my parents, my grandparents, so on and so forth. Right now is an opportunity to. And that's the thing. It's like, we don't have to hold on to that. And this goes back to what I was saying, is like, when I ask how your relationship is with God, it's really to ask yourself, how is your relationship with you? Because if you don't have a relationship with yourself, then you don't have a relationship with God. If you neglect yourself and your intuition and your betterness, or your who you are for the betterment of your internal self, you don't have a relationship with God. You can go to church all day, every day. You can pray for every meal, every situation you can pray. But if you don't have you don't have a relationship with yourself, then you don't really have a relationship with God. You're just faking it. You're just faking it at this point, just to pretend that you're a good person, and that doesn't please God. Hey, I choose peace. I choose growth. I choose myself, because you deserve a life that feels as good as your healing, because you always have. You deserve to have a great relationship with yourself, to prioritize you first. You have to put you first in your life, because in the end, you only can save yourself. We wait for someone to come save us through our pain. The government, the single woman is waiting for a man to get her out of a poverty-stricken environment. The single man is waiting for a woman to come into his life to teach him how to love. No. You have to love yourself. That's the true relationship with God, is by learning to love yourself. If you love God as much as you say you do, then you should be loving yourself. You should be prioritizing your mind state, your spirit, your soul. I choose myself. I choose my peace. I choose healing every single day, because healing is not something you do once. Healing is a daily commitment to yourself. You deserve it. You deserve to cry. You deserve to be free of all those burdens, all of those fucking mental slaves, mental chains of trauma. You deserve to be free of mental slavery. Because when you can free yourself of that, you can feel the frequency of love, which is love, authentic love. Authenticity is the highest frequency. And so at that point, you have to strive for what you want. It's okay to go through bad shit. It's okay to be weak sometimes. Because if you are weak in a situation, then you have the opportunity to grow strength. It's okay to be transparent. It's okay to have a tough day. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to go through traumatic experiences, but they do not deem who you are. You are more than that. You are way more than that. You are beautiful. You are light. You are everything that is loving. You are perfect. The Most High does not make mistakes. Everything that you're going through is an adventure to become who you deserve to become. That's what it is. It's not about just this one mission. That's not your purpose. Your purpose isn't to go through trauma. Your purpose is to transcend beyond that. I release what no longer serves me. I set myself free because you deserve to be free, because you always have. You deserve to be free of societal norms. You deserve to be free of the hive mentality. You deserve to be free of your trauma. But in order to become free, you have to address it. That's what this book is about. This book is it's not just a book where you sit down. It's a book you dealing with something, open it up. It's here to teach you on how to transcend beyond the shit that you're dealing with every day. Simple context. There are steps in here in which you can apply. Protect your peace. Not everyone will understand your healing. Some will try to pull you back into the old versions of yourself. Be mindful of the people, places, and habits that drain your energy. You are allowed to walk away from anything that disrupts your peace. Anything that makes you feel like shit, strip it out your life. That's the thing. I was talking to my little cousin the other day, right? And he said, this woman I'm dealing with, she doesn't accept me for my past. Hey, then let her go. Hey, she keep telling me she want me to do this. Hey, then let her go. The thing about it is, like, all these signs, you hear all this. Love never has to feel like you have to pretend to be something that you're not. You are what you are. You've been through what you've been through. You will transcend. Now, if you still settling for the bullshit that you've been through and that's your image, then, hey, you shouldn't be in a relationship from the get-go. But if you want to have a relationship, you should be authentically you. Be you. Only you can save your fucking self. You waiting on someone to come into your life and love you the way that you need to love yourself. It ain't never going to happen. It starts with you. The only reason why you willing to accept this type of relationship is because you got mommy issues, because your mom didn't love you the way that you deserve to be loved. So guess what? You need to teach yourself how to love you. Fuck. Love yourself. Like that's what people don't understand. The reason why my relationship is the way it is, like me and my wife, I feel like we have a great relationship. We're not relationship goals, but because I realize in order for me to love her the best that I can, I have to love myself. I have to be selfish sometimes. I have to say, hey, babe, I gotta go on a jog. Hey, babe, I gotta go do this. Like, self-love is not buying material things. That's not self-love. That's a facade. Self-love is this. This. It's doing the work on yourself, repairing you. You got a nice car, like you a car and the paint job is nice. The seats look nice. You got the booming system, all that. But the inside, your transmission fucked up. Your radiator fucked up. Your brakes is going bad. This shit squeak when you stop. You not doing the internal work is causing your shit to break down. It may look pretty. You might be in shape. You might got all the material things, jewelry, makeup, hair. You got all this shit. But internally, you're suffering. We have to address these things. The journey isn't easy, but it's necessary. And most importantly, you're not alone. It's time to stop waiting for someone else to save you. Because in the end, you can only save yourself. That's my book. This is what it's about. For anyone who is hearing this episode, you can purchase my book now. The ebook is on every platform. It's on Apple. It's on Amazon. It's available for ebooks. But if you want a physical copy from me with a personal note to you, connect with me on all social media platforms. Tuesday Night Swim on Facebook, Tuesday Night Swim on Instagram. You can email me at thehighlyemotionalpodcast@gmail.com, and I will personally send you a book. It's $11. I want people to invest in this, because when you spend your money, you don't let your money go to waste. So it's $11. I send it to you. I put a personal note. We also got merch on the way. Only you can save yourself type of. I'm highly emotional hats, highly emotional shirts, hoodies. We have all these things if you want to support, but that's not the narrative that we're pushing. I want to help you realize that you deserve to be loved. And your relationship with God is not based upon you following a religion. Your relationship with God is based upon your relationship with self. Only if you can love yourself can you love God and everything else. So thank you. If you enjoyed this episode, like, subscribe, share with your family. All the links to all my information is in the bio. Please, you guys, if you are tapping into my episodes, reach out to me, leave a comment, talk to me. I want to get to know who you guys are. I want to connect with you all as my viewers, my followers, my listeners, my family. That's what I want to build with you. I'm here. I'm here to anyone who is willing to listen. Anybody who needs somebody to listen. I'm here. So please connect with me. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Link with me, please. Because we are building a foundation. We are building a family. And remember, in the end, only you can save yourself. Peace, love, and light. Big swim.